Okay, welcome back to Sunrise Today. Yes, as you've seen, the Honourable Dennis Agbo joins us this morning as a member of the 10th House of Representatives. Good morning, and thank you for coming on today.
Thank you. Good morning, and thank you for having me.
Well, of course, everyone is concerned about the value of our currency against several other currencies and how it impacts what we do here, inflation, and several other economic indices here, which appear to be going south. They want them to arrest it, as a matter of fact. So that's why they were talking to CBN there. But so give us the background, because many will wonder, just the motion there really will not suffice. It's got to be much more than just moving the motion.
Yes, a motion will not suffice. We have to move from motion to action. We have to, it begins with a motion, which probably expresses the concern of the public, the concern of the Nigerian people who we represent the House of Representatives. So it comes by a motion to express the concern. Then it should draw everybody's attention to that critical issue so that people will start thinking along that line. For instance, what will become our emphasis? What will become the emphasis of government? What should become the intervention emphasis of representatives in their various constituencies? What should our budgeting priorities be? You know, this is the crux of the motion, to draw attention that the value of our local currency is actually going haywire.
So now that they want the CBN to come up with some of this monetary policy, do they have an expectation? Do they have specific areas that they're looking to see how they can intervene?
The motion merely urges the CBN, the authority charged with management of our monetary policy, to do something. Now, but just like I said, beyond the motion, we can also make concrete suggestions as to what, the country should do. To me, we have arrived here in our exchange rate regime because of our failure to produce and our total or exclusive dependence on oil as our, they call it the mainstay of our economy, but it shouldn't become the only item that we can export. We can do more, we can produce more. Our economy is not productive, it's a consuming economy. It doesn't produce. We depend too much on the extractive resources, in this case, exclusively the oil. I am also going to say that, yes, we can put more things in the basket. One is the oil. Two are other extractive resources like the solid minerals. There's total absence of these solid minerals in the line of sight. We are not accounting for them. It is creating so much security issues, especially up north, in Niger, in Zamfara, in other states of this country that are well endowed with solid mineral resources. We should bring those solid minerals, just like we have brought oil to the budget. We should bring the solid minerals from other states of Nigeria into the picture.
Is that, what do members think about this?
Exactly what I'm saying.
Oh, okay. So if that were to happen, because it was only today, it was reported in the dailies that the government is asking the states to steer clear of some of these mineral resources and of those activities. So if that is if that's where the head of the government, the federal government is, that's quite far from what the members are thinking.
No, not at all. I think the thing is the same thing about bringing the solid minerals to the budget as the crude oil. What you find is that, and I mentioned it while I was speaking, that this has created a lot of security issues. You go to states and private individuals, solid mineral thieves, and then by some measure, a collaboration or a collusion of governments at different levels.
They collude with state governments at different levels?
No, not that with these people who exploit the solid minerals and they don't account for it. For instance, I blame the exploitation of our gold resources or illegal exploitation of our gold resources for the security situation in Zamfara State. The pressure that security has, that the pressure on security in Niger State is not far from the issue of exploitation of our solid minerals. And if we don't check it decisively, it may spread to other states that are also endowed with mineral resources. What am I saying? The federal government is charged with being in charge of exploitation of these resources. They are getting concerned that the certain state governments are getting into it without coming to the line of fight. What simply that means is, if you are going to exploit, how much minerals you bring out from the ground will be known. Taxes on those minerals have to be paid, whether they are by private individuals, whether they're by state government, whether they're by other authorities. Because, for instance, if you check the tax, petroleum profit tax, it is up to 90% or even more than 90%. How much should somebody who exploits solid minerals pay for those? We don't even collect anything. People, just seize, an area, begin to exploit the resources there without accounting for it at all to the government. So the government gets nothing for the mineral endowments of such places and such locations.
So, can we continue to approach things this way? Because if you say you blame the security situation in Zamfara State to illegal mining, government has some details. We believe that might have been going on for a while. They've not been able to rein them in. So, does government then, federal government, do they have that capacity across board? We approach and try to see how do we change things? Because states keep telling you, look, if they are cautioning them to not interfere in the activities, it does suggest that states are thinking about doing something about it and not just leaving everything to the federal government.
Let me say this. When I say the exploitation of our solid minerals has created security issues, it is because it's a free-for-all. There's no regulation. Nobody's in charge. So people, different contesting groups.
There's the Ministry of Solid Minerals.
Yeah, but I am urging them to take charge, because groups, non-government actors, are seizing locations, seizing those enclaves, commandeering whatever is happening there, dictating what is happening there, exploiting the resources, cutting them away. Certain makeshift airports have been created or have been alleged to have been created around this inside this country, and people mine things, mine gold, and these things are just simply cutted away and they fly out. We have seen such. Why is it that these things can be possible? So different groups will come and say, okay, we own this place. So Nigeria is being is being controlled by different groups. We own this place and we're going to be exploiting the resources there. And nobody can come near. Government officials cannot come. Regulatory agencies can. They even now fight with the security operatives of government to continue to control those concessions and to continue to exploit the resources there. That's what I mean by that.
So what would you think about Naira redenomination if you were to be on the floor for some sort of debate? If the new strategic agenda for the Naira by the CBN. So if they say we want to redenominate the Naira to ensure that we're able to manage the currency, would that be one welcome idea that might fit into the request of the members?
Redenomination of the Naira is simply to control the cost of printing. Simply to control the cost of printing. Psychologically also, it will help to adjust the mindset of the Nigerians. Some time ago, 1 Naira or $1 exchanged for 75 kobo. Less than 1 Naira. Now, $1 exchanges for 1,000 Naira. Now, that is mind-boggling. So, psychologically, it will help to even put us at the right frame of mind that our currency has not become mere wallpaper. Now, but more than that, it will also control the cost of printing our denominations. Because for now, the cost of printing our denomination is more than the value of the denomination.
Yeah, that's just one of the many advantages they say that this will be, because convertibility of the Naira, and then ensure effective liquidity and management of monetary policy, better anchor inflation expectations, strengthen public confidence in the Naira, reverse tendency for currency substitution, and several others.
Bottom line is that if there is redenomination, if you are earning 30,000 Naira, you may start earning 3,000 Naira.
And then we'll be able to use coins more.
Yeah, then you can bring the coins to use it. So the quantity of money in circulation will reduce. The cost of printing will reduce. And then we can start a journey forward about the value of that new redenominated Naira.
You think it will have an impact?
It will have
value of the currency.
Yeah, it will have an impact because there is a psychology of it. That you are taking a packet of money, a packet of Nigerian Naira, and you are exchanging it with something that you can put in your front pocket.
So they say, look, if there is if a product costs 2,000 Naira, since they're moving 2 zeros to the left, it will now be 20 Naira.
Yes.
So you have the option of, should I pay 2,000 Naira or 20? Why should I be carrying 2,000 Naira if I can just pay 20 Naira note?
Exactly.
So
and gradually the old currency will have to.
But will we achieve much in terms of if we do not focus on production, manufacturing?
Like I said when I was starting, all these are just house cleaning, if you may. House cleaning, because we have not started addressing the issue. The issue is about production. And may I say, I was only talking about the solid minerals. Next one, very critical, is agriculture. Agricultural production, government must handle it as a matter of emergency. I became excited a while ago when the president proclaimed a state of emergency on agricultural and food production. But I thought that they were going to match the pronouncement with action and with our purse, with budget. But I was surprised that when the issue of palliative administration came, they also started transferring money to states instead of using these monies to address the issue of commercial agriculture. My suggestion is this. Parts of this country should be mapped and designated areas of best fit for commercial production of flagship, what I call flagship agricultural produce. There are areas of this country that are very suitable for certain items of agricultural produce. For instance, cassava, for instance, maize, for instance, millet, wheat, vegetables, tomato, and all those things. There are areas of best fit. even palm oil, that can give you vegetable oil at the end of the day, so on and so forth. If the 2 billion Naira that was recently given to state governments, whose administration has become challenged, questioned, if 2 billion was given to the state government to clear land, and they actually use that 2 billion to clear a massive area of land, maybe up to 10 square kilometers, 20 square kilometers of land, which we have in this country, various places. When you clear about 20 square kilometers of land and you begin to implement the cultivation of a particular agricultural produce, you will create impact. Be it cassava, be it maize. Right now, we have a maize crisis because even the feeds, the human beings are now competing with poultry, with piggery,
Honorable,
with
if
other
just one
animal
second,
husbandry.
Just 1 second, Honorable, if you can hear me.
Practitioners with
Honorable, if you can hear me, just 1 second. I want to bring you back quickly to an issue that you mentioned the other time. Just 1 second, Honorable. You were talking about the Federal Ministry of Solid Minerals the other time, and you were talking about the implications of certain actions that were taken or not taken. But, you know, an extension to Chamberlain's question to you the other time is that the Minister of Solid Minerals was saying that the states have begun to ban mining activities across the country to a point, and as far as it's concerned, it's a constitutional matter. We have also been befuddled. A good number of people are wondering. The land is under the purview of the state governor. The mineral resources or deposits under that land belongs to the federal government. So now that it's a constitutional matter, if we are going to improve the economy or fix the economy, as you have said, and this issue, you have also seen the implications, seeing that these mineral deposits are in the states, what could be for you a solution or an intervention so that the federal government and the state governments can have a concourse of sorts about this particular issue of solid minerals, because they are in the states, but they can't touch them legally because, according to the Constitution, it's under the purview of the federal government. So what do you think should be a middle ground?
Okay. Let me put a question back to you. Why don't we have this kind of confusion in the exploitation of our crude oil? Why? It is the confusion I am talking about. Why is it that federal government is saying states should not ban? Why is state having to ban? It is because they are trying to solve a security issue, which has been created because of free-for-all exploitation of solid minerals under their domain of administration. That is why. And I'm saying the federal government needs to step in and control these things. It is not to stop the exploitation. It is but to stop the free-for-all exploitation. Control what we are exploiting. Because, one, if people outside this country notices that in Nigeria you can mine gold without accounting for it, without being held responsible to anybody, without paying any tax or whatsoever, they will move to Nigeria. They will begin to control areas. Because they now know that just when you can, by force, control those areas, you can freely exploit those resources and cut them away. This should not be the case. That's just the bit about solid minerals. But I'm saying we have a whole lot of opportunities in agriculture.
We'll come back to agriculture in a moment, Honorable. We'll certainly come back to agriculture. But one of the things that's a little disturbing about what you said, I mean, when you compare with petroleum, of course, we know that they are miles apart because it's easier to just go underground and just dig a little, we have seen in some of the videos that have been shown while you were speaking. Well, it's not the same for petroleum. You have to dig so very deep into the ground to get that one. But in terms of this intervention, you said that the federal government should come and intervene. But you also know that we have mineral deposits all over the country. I'm not sure whether or not we have the representation of the Ministry of Solid Minerals in every area in Nigeria where we have solid mineral deposits. So what kind of conversation, seeing it's not only a security matter, as you have highlighted, it's also a constitutional matter. Is there a constitutional intervention that you see? Do you see any opportunity, any chance that the constitution could be adjusted or, edited in such a way, by the National Assembly, of course, in such a way as to accommodate the activities of the state governments in the mineral resources sector?
Okay. I believe that the Minister for Solid Minerals has his job cut out for him. Number two, the security agencies have their job in this particular respect cut out for them. It may become necessary, talking about the Constitution, to devolve the responsibility for exploitation of solid minerals down the line and not to centralize it. But before you do that, you have to know how much coal is in Enugu State. Where are the locations and how much reserve of coal deposit do you have in those locations? Even if you want to ask the state now to control the exploitation of coal reserve in Enugu State, you have to know, federal government, how much is the reserve of coal, so that when they start exploiting, you know how much revenue, how much tax, how much remittances you are expecting from them for just that particular item. Now, talking about how easy it is to exploit the solid minerals in Nigeria. Maybe some of them are alluvial, some of them are very at surface levels. So it does not matter, because even the yam we cultivate, the cattle we carry around, they are not even buried under anything. They are on the surface. Everybody knows who owns what. So it shouldn't be a matter of, it is easy to exploit. Yes, I agree with you that, it may involve a lot of capital investment to exploit our oil. But don't forget that even the exploitation varies from place to place. There are some places where it is offshore, some places it is. But however it is, whether it is onshore or offshore, people are controlling the exploitation and are accounting for it. I am saying that we should know who owns what. If Nigeria owns the gold, Nigeria should control the gold, account for it, raise revenue from it, not exploitation of our gold resources or iron or mineral resources becoming a free-for-all. It doesn't happen anywhere in the world. And any item we find being produced in Nigeria is produced in other places. Any items that that is being produced not from a deep investment of capital investment, is being done elsewhere. How do those people do it? What are they doing? Why is our own getting out of hand? We should interrogate these things and make sure that our solid minerals are brought within the line of sight of our revenue generation in Nigeria. Okay.
Do you see also, by the way, the value, when you're talking about value the other time, the Minister of Solid Minerals, Mr. Dele Alake, while at Hunger in New York, put the total value, approximates the total value of Nigeria's mineral resources, the deposits that we have, to something in the region of $700 billion. If you divide that by 36, I guess your guess can be as good as mine. It's one of the reasons I don't like mathematics. But do you see a conversation between the federal government and the state governors in particular? What could, in your opinion, beyond trying to ensure and secure their states? Because something you said is very, very important. If we do not produce, we will continue to circle around this mountain that we have on our hands. And mineral deposits, as you have said, is fairly low-hanging fruit. Zamfara State has demonstrated it one way or the other. And we have quite a number spread in various states, all the 36 states of the country. what kind of role do you think, if the National Assembly goes by the line that you talked about, of adjusting the Constitution, what kind of role do you think the state governors can play? This question is advised because in the House of Representatives, every single one of you is from certain communities, and you know where the shoe pinches. So, and I also want to believe that you're having conversations with the governor of your state and with the members of the Houses of Assembly in your state. So what kind of intervention, what kind of role would you say the state governors themselves have to have in this particular matter to facilitate production that can help fix the economy?
The issue of resource control is core in our restructuring program, in any scheme of restructuring in Nigeria. Resource control. The resource control can be done more in an organized manner, in a more organized manner. Everybody knowing what to do, your limits, where to pay the resources to. What is happening, the dangerous thing that is happening is when these resources fall into the hands of private individuals, non-governmental operators, and bandits. That is when the concern comes. Because then the resources leave the line of sight. We can no longer account for it. We can no longer use it for the good of the country. My state can be given to exploit coal, but they will pay tax to the federal government. Zamfara State can be given to exploit gold, but we have to know how much gold are they exploiting, are they mining, and how much tax will be due to the federal government. Even the resources that, even if it is the state government that is investing in it, how much is due to the state government, not to private individuals. Because the danger, what is happening that is wrong, is that these things fall into the hands of private individuals, non-state actors, and are exploiting natural resources of our country, and nobody accounts for it. That is the danger. So we can work it out. Everybody is even aspiring to restructuring to the point of resource control. But we now know that really and truly, resources exist every part of Nigeria. It exists in the south, it exists in the east, it exists up north. A lot of resources exist. So if resource control is being advocated, it should not be, nobody's going to be left behind. But Nigeria will be better for it. The center will be better for it. Because then anything you exploit, even in your own domain, within your own geographical domain, you have to pay something agreed to the center so that the Nigeria can be run with all those responsibilities that are centralized with the federal government.
Absolutely. Well, resource control is another age-long conversation. I guess it goes back to the National Assembly. But there's another issue talking about production so that can help us fix the economy. On the front page of the Daily Independent newspaper this morning, the Manufacturers Association of Nigeria are asking the federal government to overtake binding constraints limiting production. Is this one of the issues you would be taking up with the CBN and the Minister of, the Coordinating Minister of the Economy, if and when you invite them? Because on the floor, we also heard your colleagues calling for them to come and answer some questions. Add that to the fact of whether or not the House of Representatives has conducted any form of research that would aid them in taking on issues with these gentlemen that you are trying to invite.
Okay, now talking about binding constraints, we are House of Representatives. A lot of people draw from different professions. I am saying that the issue of binding constraints for militating against manufacturing and production in Nigeria is everybody's business. I am an accountant. I'm a fellow of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of Nigeria. The ICANN conference is going on right now. On the first day of the conference, it was this same issue of alignment of taxation, binding constraints, things that inhibit production, investment in Nigeria that occupied the the discussion on the first day. A lot was said. Very intelligent conclusions were reached. The government should be interested. And the president also delivered an address, an opening speech to declare the conference open. And he said that he is going to stay close and monitor the outcomes, his communique from that conference. It should go from just merely saying it to now doing it. Let him go and get the conclusions from such conferences. And such conferences are going on in other professional bodies around this country. And the talking is not scarce in Nigeria. The conclusions, the papers are not scarce in Nigeria. But let the government develop the staying power, the ability to follow up on these things and convert conclusions or decisions reached in some of these bodies to concrete implementations by government, which is their responsibility. So even we in House of Reps may not be the most qualified to talk about the binding constraints. But bodies like ICANN, they are tackling it head on. Now it is being discussed. I was there, I participated in that opening ceremony. And papers were presented, discussions were had, conclusions were reached. We should follow up on these things and make sure that we begin to bring them to policy making. And of course, we will utilize information we get from such discussions in our deliberations in the parliament.
All right, and a good place to anchor. Honorable Dennis Agbo, member of the Labour Party and a member of the 10th House of Representatives. Thank you very much indeed for your time here today.
Thank you.
All right, we will be back in just a moment. Stay on with us.